Thanks for inviting me to speak today. This is a great event, and I'm honored to be here. And I want to say personally for myself, but the time that I've been an RLC leader in Exito has been some of the most rewarding times of my career. The students that come through the Exito program have made my lab such a rich and productive and fun place to be that I can't really imagine what it would be like if I didn't have these opportunities to work with such a diverse group of students. So it's awesome. And I think where somewhere I'm gonna embarrass him right now because Jose just joined my lab. I told him I was speaking. Let's see, did he show up? Jose, are you here?
Right here. What's up?
Yeah. All right.
Hey,
Yeah, you
everyone.
showed up. You passed the test. All right. So Jose and I are going to have a lot of fun. We've been working early in the morning together, learning how to take care of fish that live in the desert and can survive being dried out and stuff. So it's been a lot of fun. But today I was asked to talk a little bit about the research endeavor and COVID and the importance of undergraduate research. And I was so inspired to hear Leslie talk about her experiences as an undergrad and Sabrina as well. I shared those same experiences. While I'm clearly a white male, I grew up in a small logging town. So, for me, my two job options leaving high school were: do I want to cut down logs in the forest, or do I want to take logs that have been cut down and cut them into lumber? Those were the two things that I was sort of thinking about in high school. And luckily, I went off to college, and I had an experience where I met this professor, and he was talking about marine organisms and how they survive in the intertidal. And it just clicked for me that this was the way that I had always thought about biology, but I had never really been able to formulate it before. And so I went and asked him if I could work in his lab, and he said yes. And then the next thing you know, it's what, 30 some years later, and I'm still practicing science. So I definitely don't know where I would have been if I hadn't had that opportunity to do undergraduate research. And it's been tough. I'm going to tell you, the COVID-19 pandemic has made research tough for everyone. So in March, we shut down the whole research operation at Portland State, and we basically sent everybody home until June, and then we restarted it. And over the summer, we've been slowly building, and I'm happy to say we're now at like almost 800 people working. About 470 of those are graduate students, and about 100 of those are undergraduates. And we added undergraduates late in the mix, but we're adding more and more every day as we learn how to do this safely and how to make sure that people can work in the lab and get the right training without increasing their risk of COVID exposure. So I feel really good about it. I think we've done a good job as a community, as in a campus, making sure that public health and personal health are the most important thing, but figuring out ways to get in there. So don't be shy about getting in to a lab to get some experience. We've got, everybody's got masks. They've got enough hand sanitizer and other types of disinfectants to completely wipe out the microbiome of PSU, which is probably not a good thing. But so far we've only had one COVID positive case, and because of all of these in the research community anyway, and because of all of our protocols, that didn't turn into a spread at all. In fact, there wasn't another case attached to that one because that person was working using all of the um, physical distancing rules and wearing a mask and everything. So I do feel like at first we weren't sure it was very safe, but I feel like we've got it down pretty good now. And I'm going to knock on wood because, the pandemic's not doing so well overall. But I think our motto is if we continue to work together, we can continue to work. So we're gonna keep that going and hopefully get as many of you into the lab as we can, because that's where it's really impactful. Because one thing I do want to say, the other thing that really inspired me was to hear Carlos talk about wanting to see Exito 20 years from now. And that's my goal too. So, as interim vice president, I'm going to work with Carlos and Tom and others across campus to try and institutionalize this program so that it doesn't go away when the Exito NIH grant goes away, but rather we can grow this program and use it as a model to support research for decades, let's hope. So I look forward to that work with the leadership in Exito, and probably with a number of you that are on this call as students and others, because we're going to need input from everyone to try to figure out what's the best way to institutionalize this for highest impact. So Um, that's about all I had to say. I'm really excited for this year. I feel like we have the opportunity. The nice thing, I will say this, the nice thing about COVID, the positive spin on COVID is I spend more time with my undergraduate students now than I did before because we have weekly meetings on Zoom and we can only train one-on-one. So they get one-on-one time with me, which they would have never gotten before. So there are some positives to this. And I'm looking really forward to seeing where we go, and hopefully there'll be a vaccine and we won't have to worry about it so much in the future anyway. So I wish you all a great year, and thanks for listening.